I'm calling you guys from London, England. However, I'm originally from Montreal, Canada. So I'm here today representing Aura Innovation. I'm the CTO and co-founder, and we are creating heads-up display for commercial vehicles. And I will define what heads-up display and what commercial vehicle means. So here we go. Okay, so for the next 4 or 5 minutes, I'd like you all to imagine yourselves as fleet managers, and you oversee 200 delivery vehicles. So most of your drivers are pretty good, but a lot have room for improvement. So each year, I guess in US dollars, about 1.1 million US dollars is wasted on your fleet. Your drivers are getting lost, they're driving too quickly, accelerating harshly, braking harshly, causing accidents, and just generally wasting fuel, raising your insurance, and causing a lot of money, which no one really thinks of. But there's a real root to this problem, and let's maybe explore that a little bit. So the cause of this problem is that in almost every case, a fleet equips themselves with base stock model vehicles. And then they install numerous devices like this one on the left, and they kind of clutter the dashboard. So it's very dangerous when drivers take their hands off the wheel and eyes off the road to use them. Causes accidents. Furthermore, the drivers, don't really like these devices because they're constantly beeping and flashing and punishing the driver rather than incentivizing. And there's no real connection between the fleet manager and the driver. So at the end of the month, there's a monthly spreadsheet of all the violations, but there's no real interface to intervene in real time, right? Besides the monthly training, but in a couple of days, that's forgotten. So there's a big lack of tech in this sector that no one really thinks about. And I'm sure maybe some minds are racing already. When we talk about vehicle tech, the first thing that comes to mind is autonomous driving. You're absolutely right. It's coming. I'm learning more and more about this. Just a heads up, it's not quite what you think it is. And in commercial driving, especially not. When I speak to customers, they have a 10, 15, even 30-year plan for autonomy. So there needs to be kind of a segue between autonomous vehicle and the driver stage right now, professional driver. And at Aura, we believe in two fundamental beliefs regarding this. One is that the future of autonomy belongs to commercial vehicles, right? I have a car, 90% of the time it's parked, and the other 10% of the time it's doing the same 6 routes. So I don't need that to be automated. Commercial drivers are the ones who are going to be occupying the smart city. Another one of our core beliefs is the fear of autonomous driving. A lot of Americans and Europeans are not so keen on this. They don't trust the algorithms, they don't trust the sensors, because there's a lack of display. They don't really see what the driver is thinking. So at Aura Innovation, this is what we have proposed. I'm going to share a video. You guys are still following me, I hope. Yeah? Still working? Okay. This is called Heads Up Display. So I'm sure many of you have seen it in BMWs and Mercedes. Up until now, it was kind of a luxury feature. So we're bringing this into commercial space. So it's everything from a training tool to a on-the-job tool. It's a combination of many different telematic devices. Essentially, it makes a dumb car smart and a smart car smarter. So with the same hardware, we are creating different interfaces for electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles, and that's how it works. This is essentially a quick look of how it works. It's augmented reality, it's a hologram. This is how it works. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into the hardware. Here, okay, great. All right, so we call it the Atlas One. It's completely plug and play. I have one here actually, about the size of a Kleenex box. Sits on the dashboard, connects to the lighter jack, connects to the internet. It has an onboard SIM card, Wi-Fi connectivity, projects the hologram like I showed you. No smartphone needed. The brightness adjusts and the optics adjusts. So this is for different vehicle driver heights and different windshield angles. So this is our patent. Very exciting. So our goal is to not be redundant, right? We're partnering with existing solutions, everything that is currently on the market and everything that's missing. So we have sophisticated mapping, guided braking, guided acceleration, a dash cam, two-way communication. So we can send new destinations, send messages to the driver, and we're logging all the data in a fleet manager's portal. This is a picture like I showed you. So essentially, your drivers are becoming smarter. There's a shortage of drivers. There's training that needs to be relearned. And if you look at a current vehicle right now, there's not too much going on. It's a wood steering wheel. and a walkie-talkie. So this is very exciting for drivers in this space. A little bit about our model is hardware is very expensive. So we lease the units. Sometimes the units even given away depending on the size of your fleet. And no two fleets are alike. So we bundle the features. Essentially, we customize the interface. If you have in-house GPS, we can work with that. Different packages you need comes together. So in pounds here, most customers spend between 16 and 32 pounds per vehicle per month. And that seems to be the go-to model for this type of product. It's competitive with the dash cams, and the GPS is already on the market. Quick look at the competition. So there is some competition, but these products are all for consumer vehicles. They don't really return any insurance or fuel incentives, right? They all rely on a smartphone, which is dangerous and eats up your data, and they're not robust enough to survive in a commercial setting, right? For hours and hours every day on the road. Furthermore, none of them connect to a fleet manager's portal. So this is a new space for us. Like I said, we are dedicated to the commercial courier and delivery market. It's about 29,000 delivery vehicles in the world right now, but we have our eyes on other spots. So right now we're in US, Canada, UK, France, Germany, but our next step is different vehicles. So emergency response, freight trucking, public transit, taxis, even construction vehicles. So this is about a third of vehicles in the world. They're common to every city. They have professional drivers, and they're here to stay. So I do believe when I say the future of autonomy is going to be commercial, this is who I'm talking about. Action. So before writing a single line of code, we drove around with a lot of vehicles, a lot of drivers, fleet managers, learned their relationship, and validated. We just did renders and sample videos and got our features down. We're in talks with the OEMs like Ford and Volvo and Nissan continually. So when we get a little bit more serious, we can work with them. We're piloting with Post Canada, Royal Mail. Most recent victory for us is UPS. So that's a big one. And we're kind of helping to optimize fleets, look at their data, prepare them for electrification, prepare them for automation. So it's very exciting. I'm personally a real car guy, so I like to be behind the wheel. Up here, if I have maybe one more minute, I'll go through the annex slides really quick. Our team, just to tell you, we're all aerospace in Montreal, big aerospace city. I used to work on flight simulators as an avionics engineer. Sujan over here used to do the supply chain. This is how our company started. Gabriel on the left, he's the CEO, got hit by a truck. Thankfully, he was all right, but he started thinking of how was that happening in 2018? How are drivers so distracted that someone could get hurt like this? So we won a startup competition, got some initial investment, came to the UK. We've been here ever since. We spent the summer in Hong Kong and Shenzhen, visiting factories. So that was a real eye-opening experience. And right now we're in the process of pilots. So coming up in 2019, we'll begin our investment round, but right now we're looking for pilots. So when we do begin raising, we're raising 2 million pounds. It's kind of a seed, mega seed. This is going to be for trade shows and growing the team, new features, and to get us through that hurdle of manufacturing. And that's my presentation. Keen to hear your questions.